Slender, androgynous men were all the rage in the 1970s, until one future action star sparked a whole wave of macho imitators with his insanely sexy pecs. These days, it can be rare to see a big, bold mustache out in the wild. But 50 years ago, a full horseshoe-type mustache, think Hulk Hogan, became popular, especially among biker groups. Other types of mustaches became widespread too, such as the popular chevron mustache. In the 1960s, mustaches may have been for the hippies and counterculturalists rebelling against the square ethos of the 50s. But by the 70s, they became more common in mainstream society and were attractive to heterosexual women due to the mustache's masculine swagger. Popular heartthrobs at the time like Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck wore mustaches, further popularizing the facial hairstyle. Plus, there seems to be some science behind people liking mustaches. According to the New York Times, clean-shaven men are ranked as less sexually attractive than those with facial hair. Chest hair has gotten such a bad reputation lately that a 2018 study by Mintel showed that up to 30% of British men remove their chest hair. But 50 years ago, chest hair was not just attractive to women, it was downright sexy. Consider Tom Selleck. In the 1970s, Selleck was a model and spokesman for Salem cigarettes and often appeared in magazine advertisements and on billboards with a lit cigarette in hand and a shirt unbuttoned to reveal tufts of chest hair. Bonus points for a gold chain. As everyone knows, sex sells. And 50 years ago, chest hair was considered so sexy that it was used as a marketing tactic. It makes sense that women were attracted to hairy men. After all, research shows that women are attracted to men with body hair, as it indicates sexual maturity. Now that the health risks associated with heavy drinking are better understood and documented, being a lush is decidedly out of style. But back in the late 1960s and early 70s, men who drank a lot were considered manly, and being able to drink excessively was a sign of virility. Being a woman who drank heavily in this era was stigmatized, though, according to a 1962 article by Don Murray. Murray wrote, "Drunk as a lord is a tribute. No one ever said approvingly, she was drunk as a lady." Don Draper, the leading man in the 1960s and 70s inspired TV show Mad Men, is known as a very heavy drinker and acts as one example of this male archetype. Despite what appears to be alcoholism, or maybe in spite of it, Draper maintains his status of a sex symbol.
We drink because it's what men do.
What about shaky hands? I see a lot of that too with you boys.
The late 1960s and early 70s introduced much more pattern, color, and experimental styles into menswear than in the past. No longer was the masculine ideal a dark, neutral suit. Orange, red, and yellow patterned shirts and pants held their own particular sex appeal. Embracing wild patterns and bright colors was part of the countercultural movement that began in the late 60s. Wearing non-traditional colors and patterns showcased a person's individuality, while also casting aside social norms. Heterosexual women who were looking for a more progressive, non-traditional mate would have likely found men who sported colorful or patterned clothing both cool and attractive, especially red. Professor Andrew Elliott wrote in a study, "We found that women view men in red as higher in status, more likely to make money, and more likely to climb the social ladder." Women in the late 1960s and early 70s were drawn to slim builds and more effeminate features like long hair. Icons like Mick Jagger and David Bowie grew to immense popularity, all the while sporting long hair, tight clothes, and makeup. The average man in the early 70s may not have donned a full face of makeup, but the androgynous trend did trickle down in other ways. For example, many men opted for long hair at this time. These changes were likely due to the countercultural and women's liberation movements at the time. This extended to footwear, where platform shoes became a thing for men as well as women. Reminiscent of women's high heels, platforms are undeniably feminine and were a representation of the emerging dismantling of gender roles. In a study published in Personality and Individual Differences, researcher David Parrott wrote, "Women prefer great degrees of masculinity for short-term partners, but for long-term relationships, what we are finding is that they prefer more feminine men." Of course, for every movement, there's a counter-movement, so the rise of the androgynous look was mirrored by a new fascination with the hyper-masculine. Macho was very much in. Many of the popular 70s heartthrobs all had a few things in common: dark hair and a tall, strong build. Consider actor John Travolta, who rose to fame after starring in the 1970s classics Grease and Saturday Night Fever. Travolta's height, 6 feet 2 inches, and his dark hair and light eyes made him an instant crush for many women 50 years ago. Other popular celebrities who shared that classic tall, dark, and handsome look were Superman's Christopher Reeve and Burt Reynolds, who starred in Smokey and the Bandit.
Better yet, why don't you come by and pay up in person?
I'll catch you on the flip side, darling. I'm too pooped to pop.
According to David Poots, an associate professor of anthropology at Pennsylvania State University, who analyzes the evolution of human sexuality, research shows that hetero women tend to gravitate toward men who have traits that are a bit more masculine than average. More masculine traits may include being tall, having dark features, and having a deeper voice. Oh, and one more thing: giant muscles. It's probably not that surprising that heterosexual women 50 years ago were into men who were muscular. After all, a muscular build has been a stereotypical staple of male beauty standards for over 100 years. But about 50 years ago, we were on the brink of a new body trend for men: bodybuilding. You can blame Arnold Schwarzenegger for the rising trend of extreme muscularity due to the popularity of his 1977 documentary, Pumping Iron. These days, many straight women actually do not find extremely muscular men attractive. Bodybuilder Chris Bumstead told Essentially Sports in 2022 that women actually find bodybuilding physiques, quote, kinda gross. But 50 years ago, big muscles, hairy chests, groovy mustaches, and hard drinking combined to form the alpha male ideal for many people.